Once a name as regular as the next, and now it is a hushed household name that has broken the internet many times. Tia Billinger's rise to Bonnie Blue is definitely an interesting one.
Not here to please all the women. I prefer their husbands and their sons. So 100, 600, 800, 900. The big 1000 was well and completely done. And I really want to be covered in I was dropping them home in this, so I'll write it in Bonnie Blue Bang Burst.
So we need to talk about Bonnie Blue and the journey that transformed her from Tia Billinger into one of the most contentious figures in modern adult entertainment. Whether you've caught her name on TikTok, seen headlines about her 1,000 men in just 12 hours, or heard about her Channel 4 documentary that honestly shook up the UK scene, her story is impossible to ignore. But most of the discussion about Bonnie Blue isn't about her story. It's how her story became public and what it says about fame, gender, performance, capitalism, and consent in the digital age. In this video, I'm going to take you through who Tia Billinger actually was before her alter ego of Bonnie Blue, how and why she chose the Bonnie Blue persona, the events that made her become a viral figure, the cultural reaction from outrage to just pure fascination, and what all of this tells us about modern internet society. And before we do go into this video, a few clear disclaimers. This video will of course mention adult content, explicit material, and controversial acts, not to sensationalize them, but because they're central to understanding this whole situation. What we are talking about here is controversy and public opinions. This is not moral shaming or endorsements. As with many internet era phenomena, there are layers here, and we are going to unpack all of them very carefully. So let's get into the story of how Tia Billinger became Bonnie Blue. Before we do fully get into it, please be sure to subscribe down below and hit that like button. We are trying to grow this corner of the internet, and I would love for you to be a part of that journey. Let's get into it. So, who is Bonnie Blue? Let's go over some of the basic facts. Bonnie Blue, whose real name is Tia Billinger, was born in 1999 in Stapleford, Nottinghamshire. Growing up, she didn't actually start her adult life on the path to adult entertainment. She competed in street dance competitions, once dreamed of being a midwife, and spent years in a more ordinary career working in finance recruitment for the NHS. But around her early 20s, following a move to the Gold Coast in Australia, and after a period of some personal dissatisfaction, Billinger made a choice that would completely change the course of her life. She started working as a webcam model. It didn't take her long before she realised that the internet could pay a lot more than her old job.
On average, I'm earning 50,000 a day, well over $1 million a month. It's not necessarily been a payday, but yes, my income in the last 30 days has been 1.5 million. My goal is to get to 5 million a month.
In a matter of months, she pivoted from webcam work to OnlyFans, to filming adult content, and then to performing some extreme sexual stunts. And that was how Bonnie Blue was born.
Snoop Dogg DM'd you asking for a blowjob. Would you oblige?
No. I don't care about your followers or your money. I don't want your money, and I don't need your followers. If Snoop Dogg wanted to make a sex tape with me and show his face, 100% I'll be on my knees in no time. But if you're wanting just to have sex with me off camera and keep it secret, then what do I gain from that?
By 2025, at only 26 years old, she was reportedly making over $2.1 million a month on her subscription platforms. But the numbers alone don't tell the whole story. The transformation from Tia to Bonnie wasn't just about a stage name. It was a shift in identity, performance, and audience expectations. Instead of traditional adult content, the kind that follows the already established norms of that industry, Bonnie leaned into viral stunts and extreme sexual performances. Her most infamous claim that she had slept with 1,057 men in just a 12-hour period.
So I'm the girl that's out with 1,057 men, and there's 1,057 guys which are potential dads. I just wonder which one it is. I'm just hoping it's not Bebo.
Wasn't just for record books. It was a viral spectacle. And of course, that spectacle was intentional. I personally think Bonnie Blue is a very intelligent person who knows how important shock value is. Her public persona exploded because it was headline grabbing, it was visual and shocking, it was transgressive, and it was perfect fuel for this outrage cycle. This was no longer about filming some private adult scenes. It was about performance extremity in an era of social platforms. So let's be honest, the moment that most cling on to Bonnie Blue with is the 1057 men stunt. January 12, 2025, Bonnie Blue had announced she had sex with 1057 men in just 12 hours. It was not subtle, it was not discreet, it was designed to be seen and to be viral.
Bonnie Blue, to be precise. She claims to have broken the record of sleeping with 1,057 men in just 12 hours. We haven't seen a queue of freaks that desperate to get a glimpse of a woman's rotting box since the Queen died.
And it worked. The stunt spread across news outlets, social media threads, podcasts, and meme pages. It was all pretty much instant. But as many critics had pointed out, the stunt wasn't just about sexual performance. It was also deeply controversial. It involved recruiting mostly younger looking men.
When someone wants to murder you,
Yeah.
you could reply, what I do is barely legal. What you've just threatened to do is really illegal.
But 100%, like the word barely legal, the second bloody word in that is legal.
Consent and age verification were questioned. Women's role and agency in this situation were heavily debated, and many observers had said that this event was pandering to male fantasies while really skipping any ethical scrutiny.
What are your honest thoughts on Bonnie Blue?
Helmet, absolute helmet, mate. Disgraceful.
Getting money, like, I don't know, like, I just feel like it's not anyone else's place to say if she wants to do that, she can do that. I do think they're promoting it on TikTok. It's quite bad because it does make it look like it's a really easy way to make money. Let her do her thing, but I don't know, I personally wouldn't be saying it everywhere.
Some argued that Bonnie Blue's stunt really highlighted the limits of sex positivity when the performance objectifies rather than empowers the women involved. Others saw it as the ultimate stunt of self-branding. But either way, it wasn't just about sex. It was about how deeply a performance can drive attention, money, and infamy. And one thing is undeniable. Bonnie Blue understood the algorithm better than most people.
So are you trying to wind them up so that your videos get more get seen by more people?
100%. Half the words I use is because I've seen it in the hate comments. I think I'm going to use that to promote my next video. Like, as soon as I saw the petition, I used that to promote my next OF video. The start of my OF video is a screenshot of the petition saying, hey, come and look at the videos that are trying to get me banned from Australia. So half the things I do, yes, it's marketing, but it is also true.
One of the defining aspects of Bonnie Blue's rise to fame isn't just the record-breaking stunts, it's the drama and rivalry that surrounds her, including a very public feud with another well-known adult creator known as Lily Phillips. The two women were once collaborators, even working together on some projects in their early careers. But things turned sour when Phillips criticised some of Bonnie Blue's more controversial takes. For example, remarks about relationships and how men should be treated, which Phillips had described as harmful, and that it was reinforcing some really dangerous thoughts around sex and relationships.
If I was in a relationship and my partner cheated and it was more of a someone at work, they've been messaging or they've been looking at each other, they find each other hot, and it's more of an emotional cheat. Someone like me sleeps with thousands of people. Like, your husband's in a way sometimes just another number. Like, there's no emotional connection, we're not sort of messaging beforehand. Like, send him to me, I can drain his balls, send him back to you, and then he can get back on with family life, and it's not that serious.
Oh, I hate cheating.
You do?
I hate it.
Oh, wow.
I don't mind people if we're in an open relationship, but that's like you being honest and open about it. I hate lying and cheating and stuff like that.
According to some social media clippings and interviews, the tension escalated with Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue when Phillips had announced her own sex challenge goals shortly after Bonnie Blue had announced her plans of trying to beat the world record. Bonnie Blue had reacted very strongly on her own social media platforms, claiming that Phillips had stolen her idea and accusing her of lacking originality. That comment alone reignited some online attention and turned a private disagreement into a viral spectacle.
Bonnie Blue said she can mash you up. What are you saying?
I mean, I'm not much of a fighter. Maybe if we had like a blow competition, because I know I'd definitely win that. Cut to cut, I would wipe the floor with her.
With fans and critics alike taking sides. The rivalry then just spilled out into lots more viral public stunts, from fake pregnancy reveals.
In just 8 months' time, I'm so excited to do the world's biggest live stream of a birth.
To competing claims about records, which were often framed in ways to drive clicks, shares, and engagement, all for different metrics. Both creators had used these controversies to keep their names in the headlines. They were leaning into platform algorithms and were ensuring they were staying relevant in social media that rewards shock and spectacle over anything subtle. I think what's striking here isn't just the feud itself, it's how the feud has actually become part of the business model. In the attention economy, really, any conflict is currency. Controversy isn't just a byproduct, it's intentionally cultivated, amplified, and monetized. Whether it is playful teasing or just outright antagonism, the public drama between creators really ensures that their names do stay in the headlines.
If people want to pit us against each other, that's their problem.
Blue doing the 1,000 men. Apparently it's not true. What are your thoughts?
I don't know, I wasn't there.
Is it even possible to sleep with 1,000 men in a day? Because you must have figured that out backwards. That's why you started with 100.
You know what? I think it is possible.
But I feel like you were in an arms race for the 1,000 a day, because she came on here at Christmas and said, I'm not doing it, knowing full well, obviously, that she was doing it.
Yeah. I really don't mind. It's not some kind of competition. You know, I'll still do my own thing. No? I mean...
And they are just part of continuous ongoing gossip cycles. And this isn't just unique to Bonnie and Lily. We are seeing this so many times across their creative fields. Conflict drives engagement, drama gets clicks, algorithms prioritize outrage, and then public feuds become marketing tools. And then in many cases, genuine disagreements and these fabricated performances, the lines just keep getting blurred. At the end of the day, the feud with Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue illustrates a much broader point. Bonnie Blue's brand isn't just built on sexual performance. It's built on keeping people talking, often by provoking them. That's how controversy doesn't just become publicity, it becomes profit. Then, in mid-2025, Channel 4 released a documentary that again boosted Bonnie Blue, and that was the 1,000 Men and Me documentary.
Would it be something that I chose for her to do? No. I was really, really shocked. But now, would I want her doing anything else? No, not at all. Because I know you've had like stick from the gym and people say stuff. Like, I actually thought we were friends. Like, I know, always liked us both, but then now think it's okay to put sort of like nasty comments. Yeah. And I just think, most of the time I just laugh, because I'm like, do you know, if you could earn £1 million in a month, your morals would soon change and you'd get your bits out. I don't care what people say. They always say they've got all these high morals, but...
It was framed as a deep dive, but almost immediately it became another battleground. Some viewers, I think, were genuinely curious. Was Bonnie Blue this empowered entrepreneur? Was she a symptom of toxic online culture? Was she a mirror of societal attitudes towards sex? Or maybe something a lot darker? Critics, however, were outraged at this documentary.
How many times during that did you think you actually got to orgasm? And coming off that, did that experience ruin your ability to kind of currently being able to orgasm or not?
Yeah, so I probably orgasmed in the world record about 4 times. That's because my time with each person was quite short, and for me to orgasm personally, it tends to be a lot longer than 40 seconds. So yeah, I didn't come that much, but also it wasn't just about me. I was so focused on pleasure in them. It wasn't I want to lie here and I want fingers here, I want, you know, a penis here. So it was more focused on there. Like, obviously, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience, but I probably orgasmed about 4 times.
They said that the documentary was normalising these extreme public sex acts for TV audiences. It had aired explicit scenes with really minimal context, and it had arrived at a moment where the UK was really tightening some of these adult scene online communities and laws. Many people had seen it as a big mismatch. On one hand, the UK government was really trying to reduce children's access to online pornographic material. On the other hand, national television was broadcasting some of the most explicit and extreme scenes from this adult performer's most extreme challenges. This clash exposed an even deeper tension in modern culture. Where do we draw the line of freedom of expression, public broadcasting, and responsibility to audiences, especially young ones? Some critics called the documentary sickening. Others had complained that they really didn't interrogate the other sides of it enough. Whatever your view, the documentary did succeed in doing one thing. It turned Bonnie Blue into a cultural reference point, not just another adult content creator. But behind the persona and performances, there are real people. Bonnie Blue's family has been drawn into the conversation.
Her mom and dad work for her.
Yeah, it's cute. It's a family business.
Don't tell me your dad's a cameraman.
No.
You need a production guy.
My dad does not sit there with box of tissues and has a wank over me.
There's no part of him that's like, yo, don't do this.
As soon as I slept with over 1,000, he was there to give me a big hug afterwards.
He was at the 1,000 guy shoot.
Yeah. You don't need to have daddy issues to be a whore.
Publicly commenting on her stunts, sometimes with discomfort, sometimes with defence.
Your morals would soon change and you'd get your bits out. I don't care what people say. They all say they've got all these high morals, but no way, not for £1 million a month.
Meanwhile, her public life definitely has not stayed untouched during all of her controversies. Her estranged husband has definitely spoken out about the impact of her career and public persona on their relationship.
Do you ever cry?
Sometimes, but not really.
What makes you sad?
Most recently, my divorce. So my divorce should be sorted in August. And it's emotional, it's hard. And I think anyone that's been through a divorce, or even breakup for that matter, will say it's difficult. Me and my partner have been separated for like well over a year now. But the divorce just sort of finalises, this is an end of an era. This is the end of it. And they're thinking about growing old together. And they're thinking about having children together. And, you know, them conversations you have, you know, signing the divorce papers make you realise, okay, that's over.
And when that blurred line between online persona and private life breaks, it forces a really deeper emotional reckoning. Who is Bonnie Blue beneath the platform? And what has the internet done to the person she once was? In late 2025, Bonnie Blue's story did take an unexpected twist. Or maybe expected for some people, I don't really know. She was detained in Bali by local authorities.
She was one of 34 people detained when police raided a production studio in Bali, which witnesses say was making an entertainment-themed reality show, but they claimed no indecent material was produced. Bali strictly forbids the production of pornographic material, and those found guilty of violating the law face up to 12 years in prison and a big fine.
Amid allegations that she was producing adult content in the country, which would be violating some of the local anti-pornography laws. You might have seen some of the videos I've made about this whole situation. The raid had reportedly found cameras, condoms, branded paraphernalia from her Bang Bus touring. She had faced potential sentences of up to 15 years or a lot larger fines, although reports later have stated that she was just deported and banned from re-entering Indonesia for a period of time. This episode had really highlighted a striking reality. What is seen as somewhat acceptable performance in one country definitely doesn't mean it is in another. It can be criminal in some places, and it shows just how globalized and fragmented internet fame can really be. And now I think we really come to the heart of the matter. How should we really interpret the rise of somebody like Bonnie Blue? There are fundamentally two competing narratives when discussing this. Narrative one is that she is a sex-positive entrepreneur. Supporters argue she has taken control of her own body. She has monetized what others only fantasize about. She's unapologetically herself herself. And she has challenged some of the norms of the adult industry. In this view, Bonnie Blue is a radical figure, pushing boundaries, challenging taboos, and really redefining what it means to be a public content creator. There is an ongoing conversation about feminism and sex positive conversations that defends autonomy and celebrates agency, even when it is messy or controversial, like Bonnie Blue. However, the second narrative is a lot more cautious of her. Critics warn her of her stunts, that they are reinforcing objectification of women. It is reducing intimacy to just some sort of spectacle. It is encouraging audiences to consume bodies and not stories, and that it may exploit both participants and audiences alike. Some commentators are arguing that focusing only on Bonnie Blue's agency kind of misses the broader picture here. The men queuing for hours, the lack of discussion around the emotional impact, and the cultural appetite for extreme events. Others question whether any industry that turns increasingly explicit acts into public performance and art for cash is really any healthy ones. I think really one of the most important parts of this conversation isn't just what Bonnie Blue does, it's what her rise to fame means for young people, especially young men and young women growing up in a world where social media and algorithmic attention and sex work collide all in increasingly louder ways. There is a growing discussion in social media and internet spaces about how internet personalities like Bonnie Blue are shaping conversations around sex and consent and gender roles in generations like Gen Z. Critics argue that creators who are monetizing extremity, sexual or just otherwise, contribute to polarized and often fragmented views about gender and relationships. This isn't just one creator, it's a part of a broader shift in online culture that blurs empowerment with spectacle and normalization of really extreme things.
I would consider myself a feminist. I wouldn't say I'm a very strong feminist, but the things I believe is things should be equal and I should be in control of my body and no one else should be able to tell me what I can and can't do. And that's what women have fought for so many years. To those that argue that I'm not a feminist, I don't care. My morals, my values, and that's what everyone should do. If people don't believe I'm a feminist and I've took women back hundreds and hundreds of years, then I really couldn't care, and I just hope your husband enjoys watching my videos.
For some young men, the whole persona of Bonnie Blue can feed into a really unhealthy perception of women, and that they can view them as objects or challenges to be conquered rather than autonomous people. When social media amplify stories about record-breaking numbers, stunts, or just extreme sexual feats, it can shape expectations around sex in many ways that lack nuance, respect, or ultimately safety. It is going alongside so many worrying trends, such as misogynistic attitudes amongst young boys, that educators and researchers are increasingly worried about amongst the younger generation. They are seeing it as a national concern.
There is absolutely 100% without a doubt misogyny in the classroom. Parents, if you could hear the things that your son is saying to not only their female classmates, but to their female teachers, you would be embarrassed and disgusted.
And for many young women navigating their own sexuality online, there's a different kind of pressure. Some girls feel they may need to amplify or perform sexually expressive behaviours to be noticed, validated, or even just to be financially successful. Others may internalise a message that extreme displays of sexual availability are the only ways to stand out in a crowded room. These impressions don't just exist in a vacuum. Social platforms are built to reward the bigger controversies, the bigger reactions, and faster scroll-stopping content. Now, I think to be really clear, any conversation around sex work and autonomy and empowerment are really complicated ones. I think there are some legitimate conversations that are needed to be had about sex positivity, economic agency, and consenting adults choosing their own paths in life. But I think there is also a very real concern when young people are seeing patterns online that maybe aren't the healthiest ones, and especially when they are getting repeated and monetized without really any concern, especially when that content is risky or extreme or really challenges any safety concerns. The impact isn't always immediately visible, but culturally, these patterns are contributing to how we have discussions around consent, gender dynamics, self-worth, and how sex is understood as performance rather than connection. This isn't just to be condemning individuals like Bonnie Blue. It's about asking, what are these messages sending? What are the young people really internalizing about these situations? And how are digital incentives really shaping these social norms? Whether you love her, despise her, or you just don't understand her at all, her rise really reveals something about the digital age. Fame is now performance first. Controversy pays. Algorithms reward extremity. The lines between activism and exploitation and entertainment are very blurry, and audiences are both judge and jury. Bonnie Blue's story isn't just about one person. It's about how we consume bodies and attention and spectacle in a post-social media world, and what happens when fame really has no common sense guardrails. So how did Tia Billinger become Bonnie Blue? It wasn't through accident. It wasn't through any quiet ambitions, but through a collision of personality, capitalism, internet culture, controversy, viral spectacle, and cultural debate. Her name isn't just a headline, it is a mirror showing our discomfort with sex, our fascination with extremes, our hunger for spectacle, and our inability to deal with nuance in public discourse. Whether her legacy is one of empowerment, exploitation, or maybe just something a bit more complicated, that's for culture to decide. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like it and subscribe down below. I do lots of different deep dives on things to do with internet culture, maybe just random topics and all different things. I hope you did enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next one. And if you click this video here, this one is definitely a good one. I will see you in the next one.